It's Wednesday, March 18th. In the headlines, opposition leader Mark Golding proposes a digital dragnet to plug tax leakages. Jamaica pushes AI and digital innovation in schools at CXC conference. In business news, free business assessment for MSMEs at procurement seminar. Regionally, Trinidad and Tobago's energy future after Shield of the Americas summit. And in sports, the under-17 Reggae girls lose to Mexico 9-0 in CONCACAF Women's Under-17 qualifiers opening match. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Opposition leader Mark Golding is proposing a digital overhaul of Jamaica's tax system. Making his contribution to the 2026-2027 budget debate in the House of Representatives, he also criticized the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's ROOFs program and rejected the government's explanation for ending the decades-old Cuban Medical Assistance Program. The opposition leader says the government should pursue a structural integrated system for tax compliance to reduce revenue leakages and generate up to $70 billion annually without increasing tax rates.
Many countries have addressed this, not by raising rates, but by redesigning the tax architecture. Electronic invoicing systems are now standard across much of Latin America and parts of Europe and Asia, requiring invoices to be digitally validated in near real time. Every transaction is time-stamped. Every input credit must match a verified supplier invoice. Returns are auto-populated from validated data. That shift is transformative. It moves the system from post-event enforcement to transaction-level verification.
He notes inconsistencies with the collection of income tax, set to earn the government $342 billion this fiscal year.
A modern compliance system would automatically link income tax declarations to GCT turnover data, customs import declarations, payroll filings, beneficial ownership records, director compliance histories, and municipal corporation approvals of projects and so on.
He warns that the combined effects of post-hurricane hardship, ongoing global tensions, and new taxes could create more challenges for Jamaicans. Meanwhile, Mr. Golding also took issue with the government's decision to end the decades-old Cuban Medical Assistance Program, describing the move as unconvincing.
If you operate, Prime Minister, you operate in fora, which I don't. So there may be things that you're aware of that I am not. But before you make a move like that, you have to put other things in place. You can't terminate an agreement that the Jamaican people are relying on and have nothing in place and be scrambling around while people are suffering.
Scores of Jamaicans have been voicing their gratitude toward Cuba as that country ends its 50-year-old medical cooperation agreement with Jamaica on March 20. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, says it's primarily due to an inability to reach an agreement on new terms and concerns over labor practices. Scores of Jamaicans marched through Heroes Circle on Tuesday in support of Cuban doctors who have served under the program. Participants, many dressed in white t-shirts and carrying both Jamaican and Cuban flags, staged a peaceful demonstration while chanting calls for the program's return. Jamaica's education minister is urging regional leaders to rethink teaching and learning as artificial intelligence transforms classrooms across the Caribbean. Speaking at the CXC Regional Education Conference 2026, Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon highlighted both the promise and risks of a digital transformation, while pointing to Jamaica's resilience after Hurricane Melissa.
Speaking at the opening ceremony hosted by the Caribbean Examinations Council, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon stressed the need for education systems to keep pace with rapid technological change.
Technology is changing the classroom. Artificial intelligence, the new kid on the block, is changing the knowledge scape. I have to keep reminding my daughter why she can't just make ChatGPT write the essay. It's a constant battle. And so we know it's here. Our children know it.
She noted that while AI is already reshaping how students learn, the region must move from being consumers of technology to producers.
In Jamaica, we say we want our children to be conversant with artificial intelligence because too often in this region, we've just been consumers of the technology. And if we make them conversant with the technology, then we're doing that in the hopes that they will become producers of the technology, which is really where we need to get to. So we have to navigate these technological waters together as a Caribbean community.
The education minister said the focus must shift from AI's presence in classrooms to ensuring strong frameworks and digital literacy so students use the technology responsibly and ethically.
So the question we have before us is not whether AI will enter education. It's already here, and it's not going anywhere. The question is whether we, as leaders, have clear frameworks for its responsible use, whether we will build digital literacy, not just digital exposure, whether we will teach students to use powerful tools wisely, critically, and ethically.
The Northeast Regional Health Authority has distributed 12 new swing fogging machines valued at approximately $5.6 million to health departments in St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland to strengthen mosquito control efforts. Mosquitoes are known to transmit several diseases, including dengue, Zika, chikungunya, malaria, and yellow fever, all of which can cause serious health complications. Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. President of the Small Business Association of Jamaica, SBAJ, Garnet Reid, is encouraging entrepreneurs to take advantage of an upcoming public meeting designed to help small firms access government contracts and improve business cash flow. Business owners attending the session will also be able to sign up for a free business assessment from SBAJ business consultants to identify operational and compliance gaps that may be preventing them from qualifying for government procurement opportunities. The meeting, scheduled for March 26, 2026, is being hosted by the SBAJ in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service and the Public Procurement Commission. The event is being staged as part of activities marking World Sustainable Procurement Day and will focus on preparing Jamaican entrepreneurs to compete for public sector contracts. 3 companies listed on the stock exchange released results in a challenging economic environment. First, Lumber Depot is reporting net profits of 104.2 million Jamaican dollars for the 9 months ending January 31 this year. The company recorded revenues of $1.18 billion over the period, slightly higher than the $1.13 billion reported for the same period last year. Chairman Jeffrey Hall noted that Lumber Depot is also investing in future growth through a 29.3% stake in Atlantic Hardware and Plumbing Limited, a supplier of plumbing and hardware products to retail hardware stores across Jamaica. Next up, soap manufacturer and distributor Blue Power Group is reporting a year-to-date profit of $46.5 million for the 9 months ending January 31, despite what the company describes as a challenging third quarter. Blue Power Chairman Jeffrey Hall says the company recorded revenues of 585 million Jamaican dollars over the period, while the third quarter itself resulted in a break-even performance. The company says these products are facing intense price competition from irregular, informal imports. Blue Power also noted that its competitiveness in the low-cost bath soap market has been affected by a 40% duty on key raw materials under the CARICOM Treaty framework. For the trading period of March 17, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Woodcats International Limited with 32,520,188 units, representing 41.99% of market sales activities. NCB Financial Group Limited with 22,281,510 units, representing 28.77% of market sales activities. Kentire Holdings Jamaica Limited shares with 9,781,507 units, representing 12.63% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in distribution, banking, and conglomerate plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for March 17, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $158.38 and buying at $156.23. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by $4.34 transaction spread. The Canadian dollar sold for $113.45 and was bought for $114.98. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of $1.99 in profits for the bank. The British pound sold for $208.51 and was bought for $210.50. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, a healthy credit profile gives you flexibility when conditions change. It may allow you to refinance high-interest debt, access a line of credit for a business opportunity, finance equipment that increases income, manage temporary cash flow gaps without panic. So in uncertain times, financial flexibility is power. For our funded and focused feature, businesses that scale to 8 figures usually operate through systems rather than people alone. AI, or artificial intelligence, allows founders to design those systems earlier and with fewer employees. So think of the company as 5 engines working together: demand generation, sales conversion, product delivery, operations and finance, strategic intelligence. Each engine can be augmented by AI. And so artificial intelligence simplifies your process. So the goal is not to buy every new tool. The goal is to create a small digital support team that handles repetitive tasks so you can focus on revenue and strategy. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital markets and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, in Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar is reporting what she calls a major diplomatic breakthrough for Trinidad and Tobago, following high-level talks with Donald Trump and senior U.S. officials at the inaugural Shield of the Americas Summit in Florida, with early signs of potential investment and strengthened cooperation in the energy sector.
Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar attended the inaugural Shield of the Americas Summit, a diplomatic event hosted by United States President Donald Trump in Doral, Florida on March 7, 2026. She described the event as a strategic victory for Trinidad and Tobago.
And we also met with his Deputy Secretary of State, Christopher Landu, and we discussed further engagement for our region, including, of course, developments involving our neighbor next door, Venezuela. We also met with U.S. Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, to talk about cooperation in the energy sector, including gas fields, which involve Venezuela, and interests in refinery and tank farm infrastructure.
The official TNT delegation included Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Sean Sobers, Minister of Public Utilities, Barry Padarat, and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Nicholas Morris.
In that meeting with Secretary Wright, it produced almost immediate results. Within hours, energy giant Chevron reached out expressing interest in doing business in Trinidad. Within hours.
The Prime Minister noted that there were also fruitful talks with other members of the U.S. Cabinet.
We also had very productive talks with U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, and we talked about U.S.-based companies interested in here, in Trinidad and Tobago, investment, infrastructure, rehab projects in Trinidad and Tobago. And we also met with the Trade Representative, Jameson Cray, U.S. Trade Representative. And there we talked about tariffs and their potential impact on energy commodities.
She added that there were bilateral talks with other regional leaders from Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guyana, Honduras, Panama, and Paraguay also attended the summit.
Barbados' tourism sector continues to see strong growth, driven by increased airlift and new investments. But industry leaders warn that key challenges must be addressed to sustain that momentum. Deanza Roberts has the story.
Tourism remains the backbone of Barbados' economy, and 2025 proved just how strong that foundation is. That's according to BHTA Chairman Javon Griffith, who spoke about the country's performance, driven largely by growth in some markets. He says stay-over visits exceeded the 2024 figures.
Long-stay arrivals between January and December 2025 grew by 3.3%, increasing by 22,970 visitors to reach 729,310, surpassing the previous record of 704,340 visitors in 2024. Growth was driven primarily by the United States market, which expanded by 8.1%, while Canada remained strong, recording 90,209 visitors over the year. Arrivals from Europe and CARICOM also increased, with CARICOM markets supplying 98,336 visitors in 2025, compared with 92,702 in 2024.
Looking ahead to 2026, industry leaders say the outlook is cautiously optimistic, with continued demand for high-value travel experiences. He says central to that is airlift, as he announced airlift opportunity to take effect soon.
We are particularly encouraged by recent developments in airlift. On March 31st, 2026, Aer Lingus will commence a thrice-weekly direct service from Dublin, Ireland to Barbados for the first time. utilizing its state-of-the-art A321 XLR aircraft. While this replaces their existing Manchester service, it represents a strategic strengthening of our connectivity into Ireland and the wider European market. We are also pleased that British Airways will upgauge its daily London Heathrow to Barbados service, replacing their daily Boeing 777-200 with the Airbus A350-1000 during our peak summer period from July 18th to August 29th.
But while growth continues, challenges remain. According to Mr. Griffith, global developments, including tensions in the Middle East, could impact the industry, urging businesses to manage costs.
Rising oil prices, increased shipping costs, and supply chain distributions have all direct consequences for Barbados, impacting operating costs, airfares, and demand. However, Barbados has demonstrated resilience before. This is a moment that calls for discipline, efficiency, and strategic thinking. We must manage costs, strengthen our value proposition, and remain agile.
Despite the challenges, the BHTA chairman says Barbados remains a destination of choice. But maintaining that position will require strong leadership, innovation, and continued investment. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
In St. Lucia, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre is again addressing concerns surrounding Dominica's water barging efforts, pushing back against political criticism while reaffirming his government's commitment to ensuring water access for residents and maintaining balance within the island's tourism sector through targeted regulation.
I was clear.
During a recent pre-cabinet press briefing, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre sought to clarify the private sector's initiative to barge water from Dominica. His remarks aimed to flesh out the details of the venture, identify the participating parties, and define the government's specific role in the process.
The hotels will see the budget. And I'm going to make it abundantly clear for all those who have ears, let them hear. If the people of St. Lucia need water and I have to barge it from Timbuktu, I will do it. Let me say it again. If the people of St. Lucia need water and I am the Prime Minister and the people need water, I will barge it in from Timbuktu if I have to. My position is clear. The people must not suffer.
The Prime Minister provided further context to the barging operation, detailing the logistics and the stakeholders involved.
The water barging situation came as a result of the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association at a meeting declaring that they had issues with transporting water from the south and from Dennery into the north. Now, if the SLHT makes that statement, we are looking at it from several angles. First of all, the need of the clients, and secondly, our water resources are not infinite. They're not.
Aides say this update was intended to preempt public misperception and refute what Prime Minister Pierre characterized as political mischief surrounding the private undertaking.
Right now, as we speak, the barging of water is an initiative that the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association is undertaking, and the government will give them all the logistical support that they need. That's the situation today. And that wasn't a government decision. It was a decision taken at a joint meeting of representatives of the SLHTA, WASCO, the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Physical Development, the Chamber of Commerce. That was the position. I hope I've made it abundantly clear. I hope I have. For the last time, I hope I have.
Right.
So the political mischief, because the political mischief that's been created, these people suffer from lack of water too, you know. Bob Marley says, when the rain comes down, you don't fall in one man's house.
While the procurement is a private sector venture, the government of St. Lucia will provide essential regulatory support to facilitate the importation. Water officials continue to cite climate change as a primary driver of the island's persistent water crisis, necessitating these unconventional measures.
In sports, we look to football. The under-17 Reggae Girls lost their CONCACAF Women's under-17 qualifiers opening match against Mexico 9-0. With Tuesday's results, Mexico sits atop Group C with 3 points, level with Costa Rica, but holds the advantage with a better goal difference. Panama is third without a point, level with Jamaica. Jamaica's second game will see them take on Costa Rica tomorrow, while Panama faces Mexico. The group winner will advance to the 2026 FIFA Women's Under-17 World Cup, along with the best second-place team. In cricket, West Indies President Dr. Kishore Shallow has expressed concern about the recent performances of the West Indies women's team, describing them as below par. Sharif Sargent reports.
The Windies women are coming off a poor showing in their recently concluded white ball home series against Sri Lanka women, where they lost the One-Day International Series 2-1 and the 2020 International Series 2-0. Speaking during a recent interview on iSports I-95.5 FM, Shallow revealed he had already raised the issue with CWI's Director of Cricket, Miles Bascombe. He said major improvements were needed, especially with the ICC Women's T20 World Cup just 3 months away. Shallow said he was shocked that head coach Shane Dates had not come under more scrutiny in recent times. He said with just a few months left on Dates' contract, a decision would soon have to be made regarding his future with the team. The Windies women now face the unenviable task of playing world number 1 Australia in another white ball home series, with the opening T20 International set to bowl off on Thursday at Arnas Vale in St. Vincent. Sharif Sargent, ABS Sports.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.